This is my greatest discovery yet.
What's in the box?
Hello. There are plenty of low-budget movies on Tubi, but there's also low-budget TV shows. The one we're watching today is about a red box, and it's called The Red Box. There's 2 seasons of this on Tubi. The first season only has 3 episodes. The second season has 2. Why not just throw it all into one? We get into the drama really fast. There's this lady that's on the phone with this dude, and she's having the guy buy the red box from some other dude. Dude at the scene, his name is Richard or Rich. I know they say the woman's name eventually, but right now I don't remember it, if I'm being honest. Sorry. I'm really bad with picking up on names and shows, but they're very generous with reminding you. Alright, so this red box is just like a big metal box. We don't know what's in it. For some reason, the guy that's trading the box sets down his weapon and then goes and puts the box in the middle of the floor so they can do their little swap. Puts down the box, and then Rich just shoots him in the head. The guy falls, and by fall I mean he sits down. But he's dead. You also couldn't catch me dropping like that. That looks like it's a concrete floor. I can't blame the guy. The other criminals, and they're like, yeah, this box is all mine now. When he opens the box and gets like zapped, I don't know, he gets freaking... It looks like some alien thing is happening to him. He's like, ah. The first time, I guess, wasn't enough. He does it a second time, and he gets knocked on his ass. The guy's fine, though, so he gets up, and he's like, yeah, for sure, dude. So he's stealing it. He's not giving it to the woman that had hired him to get it. He's keeping that for himself.
I gotta figure this shit out.
Because I guess this mysterious box is worth a lot, and he knows that. On to this other guy with the sickest shirt I've ever seen. He's walking down the street. He's got a journal in hand. My gosh, we can't get away from the fact that he's holding this journal. I thought it was a Bible at first. I thought he was going door to door trying to preach. But he's going to this lady's house for her services. She's a sex worker.
It's gonna be 500 roses.
What?
You know, Cash App, Venmo.
It's gonna be 500 roses. And then she gets mad that he doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. Why are you saying roses? Why are you trying to make this into a pretty little thing? Just tell him money. Tell him dollars. Also, her name is Cherry, and we got like this one singular decoration in the house that doesn't even fit on the wall that it's on. It's going off onto the trim on the wall. And then she's like, oh, go sit over there on that other one piece of furniture that I have.
Why don't you have a seat over there on the couch?
Where the fuck are Nobody lives in this house. I refuse. What the fuck is this? So he's sitting there with his little journal again, making sure you know that he's got this journal on him. He has a journal on him. Are you listening? He has a journal on him. Do you see it? And she comes back, and she's like, tell me about yourself.
I have this journal. In it, I write things I experience in my life. I make music and I rap.
Why is the journal such a big part of your life, guy? And also, you have a bag. Put it in the bag.
So what are you, the new Drake?
Oh, you got jokes.
What year did this come out? Okay. Now here's where the storylines are crossing over. Cherry gets a text message. Her phone's in this other room where people totally live on this mattress with no sheets or anything in there. And she's got a text from Richard, the guy that stole that box. And he says, I need what's owed. Okay, but she's in the other room working, so she doesn't see that anyways. They're getting to it, and he just sprays her in the face. It's some knockout spray, I guess, because she's just knocked out on the couch, and he starts running. He's searching the house for the box. The box is in her house. He finds it in the ceiling. He's on the phone with his friends.
Talk to me, man. Damn, that's crazy.
I didn't edit that. You can't hear anything. He's not saying anything. So I don't know what was so wild that this guy heard. But point is, they're over there waiting for him. He's like, okay, I found it. Come get me. And they're like, they sit there for a while before they start the car. And then they're like, okay, yeah, let's go. Cut to Richard. He's over here smoking a cigar. And he has two women in the back seat. And basically, he's a pimp. He's doing all that other illegal stuff, but he's also a pimp. He's not a nice one either, I might add. And then he's like, okay, get out of my car. This whole thing was just to let you know that that's what he's doing. So, if you're keeping up, that is saying that he is Cherry's pimp. Okay, that's why she has the red box. He gave it to her and was like, I don't know, they put it in the ceiling. So the guy with the cool shirt, his name is Doug. He found that thing in the ceiling, right? And he opens the box, and it doesn't zap him. It just shines this green light in his face, and he's memorized. He's like, we still don't know what's in the box. What's in the box? Nobody knows. Cherry didn't answer Richard's text, so he heads over there. But here's the thing. It's been like a couple of minutes. Get off of Cherry's back. You're already showing up here. She was busy. She wouldn't be texting you back even if somebody didn't spray shit in her face. But he shows up anyways and just walks in. Would have interrupted. I wouldn't be paying for that if some random person walked in the midst of my session and someone walked in. I'm not giving you none of those roses. Fuck you. Give me my roses back. Doug's still looking in the box and he hears someone coming in. He's like, oh shit. Rich comes in. He sees that Cherry's knocked out and he takes his gun out. And we got the POV Richard with the gun walking down the hall. And they show shots of him walking. There's something so strange about like real tall, lanky people crouching like that. He looks ridiculous. But he's looking for Doug. And he's walking around the corner where Doug is, and Doug just takes that big-ass box and hits him in the head with it. Richard collapsed to the floor. I presume he knocks out, and for some reason, instead of going back out the front door where he came in, Doug goes into the bathroom. I don't know why he did that, but he did. And he starts, thank goodness, the bathroom window opens. And there's no screen. He just leaves out the fucking bathroom window. Richard's already awake shooting at the door. Another thing about that gets me is that neither of you went through out the front door. This dude knows you're going. Obviously, you're escaping through the bathroom window and he's just shooting at the doorknob to get in there. He didn't walk around either. Rich gives up pretty fast. Once he gets in the bathroom and he's like, oh, he's gone. That's just the end of it. He goes back out to where Cherry is and checks her pulse. She's alive. She's fine. But wouldn't you know it, Doug left behind that journal that he wouldn't shut up about earlier. Richard flips open to a random page and there's an address in there. Which is actually Doug's home address. There's nothing else even on the page. It's like, first off, who starts in the bottom left corner? Second, there's nothing else in here but your address. It's just blank. So, I don't think he has any goals or dreams in reality. That's sad. It cuts to Cherry and Richard in a club that I guess they both owned. They made the club together. And he's like, Cherry, what the fuck? As if she didn't get knocked the hell out. What do you want from her? She was doing her job. That was the end of the first episode. Episode 2, they call them chapters. So chapter 2 starts with some breaking news.
The homeowners, claiming self-defense, have since cooperated with the authorities and have agreed to move out of the house.
I don't know where. No, this is Los Angeles. They said it was in Los Angeles. This certainly wouldn't be on the news. There was some attempted burglary at this house, and these people that own the house have been an issue. That's breaking news. That's like a Tuesday. Who gives a shit? I guess Doug never went to the car with his friends when he ran out of that bathroom, because now he's running into this studio where one of the people that were in the car is at working on a song with some other dude.
We have to go. You brought the red box?
And he's like, bro, where the fuck were you? What the hell? And Doug's like, the pimp has my journal, right? And I, for some reason, wrote my fucking home address on there. So, obviously, he can't go home. He says that he wrote his address in there in case he lost it. But here's the thing. There was nothing else in there. You lost it and lost what? But he's like, we gotta go. And I know somebody that could help us. And he's like, okay, do you remember Mariah? And I guess this was some girl that Doug had been dating, and it just wasn't going well. So his friend's like, what the fuck? She also was a part of their band. They said they were rapping, but I guess they're rapping as like a group.
Bro, are you serious? You still messing with this hoe after what she did to you?
But later, they say she's the vocalist. I don't know. The dynamics of the situation don't really make any sense. But point is, she walks in and she goes, my Aunt Flo, she knows about sorcery.
And I think it's sorcery. My Aunt Flo used to tell me about this when I was a little girl. She's a psychic. She knows about stuff like this.
It must be sorcery. They're like, okay, we gotta go see Aunt Flo so she could tell us. Aunt Flo? We gotta go see Aunt Flo in New Orleans so she can, riddle us what this is about. They walk out into the hall. It's somehow Rich and Terry are there.
And then
Also, they walked out mid-session with this dude, so the guy in the studio is like, what the hell? And he follows them out there.
Yo, Jordan, you stole me for the session. My father's a lawyer.
A group of them are running. The dude in the studio started following them because I guess they owe him money, and he's like, coming with them, and he's like, what the hell? There's somebody chasing after you guys? Whatever. So they're running down the fucking street, and they see a church, and they're like, let's go into this church. Pay attention to the inside of this church. It's just an open space. There's like a few rows of chairs, but really you could just pretty much see the room from when you walk in, right? Stash that away. They're just waiting it out in this church. For some reason, Mariah just starts singing.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Me, I was like, wow, that's really strange. But they're like, wow, this is so good. The studio guy has had a flask this whole time. It's not that big of a flask, but somehow he's already just shit-faced drunk. Of course, Doug, again, his spidey senses are tingling. He hears something coming. I don't know how they knew that the group of them were in this church, but Rich and Cherry show up, and they're like, we know you're in here.
Doug, you know I know you and your friends are in here.
And what I said a couple seconds ago, they're hiding behind these fucking chairs. Let's be real. You would see them immediately when you walk in there. I'd walk into Doug and I go, oh, there he is. That's the end of that. No, they're like, come out, wherever you are. Richard's like, I've got your journal, Doug. I guess he also has his full fucking name in this journal. Richard mentioned he's got a therapist. But it's not really that important, but they do show him with someone later on who I'm assuming is his therapist. So I'm mentioning it. The group's all sitting there, and Doug is like, let me open this box real quick, and he looks in, the glow is on his face, and he's like, he closes it, and he's like, yeah, and he gets up and walks into, like, the center of the aisle, so that Richard and Cherry are there, and they're like, okay, and they're like, I want my box back, and the rest of the group, the three of them, are like crawling around, and just like earlier, they use the box in some bowl to just bonk Jerry and Richard in the head so they're knocked out. The friend gets a video sent to him, and he looks at his phone, and it's some dude saying, hey, I don't want to be involved in this anymore. And I was like, who the fuck is this? But luckily, they do a little black and white flashback and show that he was the other person that was in the getaway car from earlier. And they're like, we know you don't know who the fuck this is, so let's just clear that up real quick.
Hey, Jordan. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to bail on y'all.
But he's like, I'm not on board anymore. That's the end of that guy's involvement in this. The guy from the studio's like, I want to come with you guys because this is really interesting. This is really fun and cool, so I'll come with you.
I'm interested in seeing how this turns out. So to pay for the studio session, I'm going with y'all.
So they're like, all right, I guess we're going to New Orleans. Let's go. My camera died and I was too lazy to just wait for it to charge yesterday, so that it's tomorrow. So I believe I was talking about this fucking cartoon sequence that they did for some reason.
Guys, I really don't feel too good.
It wasn't in the budget to go to New Orleans, obviously. You could do anything with this segment, but for some reason they opt to do these cheesy ass jokes.
What happens when Kermit the Frog's car breaks down? It gets towed. Get it?
So they get there, they're at Aunt Flo's. Of course it's Mardi Gras in New Orleans. What perfect time. Do you guys say New Orleans or New Orleans?
You gonna flash if I give you one of my beads?
But they get there and the aunt is like, hold on, let me cut you off like an asshole and guess everybody's names.
This is
And this white fella.
Yeah, Reuben.
So they're like, hey, we're here to figure out what you know about this box. And they hand her the box. And for some reason, I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but every single time they got this box, it's just like, why is it wet? Is that just like a thing about it? Is it just a very damp box? She starts yapping about it though, and giving some sort of context as to what the box is.
Long ago, an enlightened African tribe constructed a chest.
Okay, how long ago could this be? It's a metal box. I don't know when welding became a thing, but something tells me it wasn't that long ago.
Power of manifestation.
The entire time she's explaining what this box is, what it does, incredibly vague. She just says, okay, it has a power in there, and it can do magnificent things. What, Aunt Flo? What does it do?
It's nothing but light.
And she's like, it can, manifestation. Vague as hell. Again, manifesting what? Can I manifest a sandwich? Doubt it. Part of what she's saying, though, is that the box will only work for who it wants to work for. That's why it wasn't working for the pimp earlier, but for Doug, it was like, yeah, I'm on board. Nobody else has tried to use it for some reason. Nobody else has taken a peek in there. I guess if I saw someone look in the box and they turned into like a radiation shade of green, like some freaking, what were those bowls they make, the uranium or whatever the hell, I guess I also wouldn't be looking in it. Yeah, no, I wouldn't look in there either. It doesn't seem worth it, especially for this vague thing. Nah, I wouldn't look in there. But Aunt Flo's like, oh, hold on, let me show you something. She walks away and she comes back with a shotgun.
And let me show you something.
Pointing at all of them. Her niece, I might add, is in this group. And at first, her niece is literally putting her hands up. And she's like, oh, but then she's like, actually, no. I'm on her side. This was like a setup. Gotcha. Who would have guessed that she was a traitor? Certainly not the guy that's been ranting about how she was untrustworthy earlier in this fucking same episode. That's the end of that scene. I'm assuming she didn't shoot them, but who's to say? If you remember, in the first episode, Richard the pimp is working for somebody that's on the phone, some lady, and he was buying the box for her. He was doing the trade with that guy that he killed for this person. And now this is her again, and she's like, find Richard. She's looking for Richard because he took her fucking box.
Find Richard. City of angels. City of dreams. I want my box back.
We're on to episode 3, which is the last one. They recorded these episodes with such a time gap in real life that I didn't realize that some of the characters were the same people, because one of them grew his hair out like big time, the other one shaved his head. So keep up. So we're here in like a barber shop, and this dude's getting his hair cut.
Chilling, man, just chilling.
He's got the clippers, like he's shaving this guy's head, but like he's definitely not doing anything to this guy's hair. Point of him being there is to set up that he's running his mouth about Rich's box. So I guess this is like in the past. We're going backwards in time because the box hasn't been stolen from Rich yet.
And Richie showed up with a big-ass red box. He said it was worth millions.
And then he's also like giving out Cherry's card with her information on there.
Her name is Sherry. She gonna take good care of you.
This is where he gets the idea to like go rob him. Go rob Rich from Cherry's house. I also don't really... nothing about this really correlates, but I guess somehow in their minds they piece together that this is where the box would be, and that's where they have to go to steal the very valuable box. I know it doesn't make sense. Another thing I want to say is that a couple of these people are saying Sherry, like Sherry, but also like her card has cherries on it, and some people are calling her Cherry. Is this like a bit? Is this like a nickname? Is her name actually Sherry? But they show this guy that was getting his hair cut, and now he's like on a farm somewhere, and he's like, this is weird that we're here. Why are we here? And then out from the back, here comes Sherry or Cherry, whatever you want to call her, and a good old bonk again. They love bonking people on this show.
Just enjoy the cigar. Sit back and relax. How's things going for you?
He wakes up tied to a chair. Rich and Cherry are here interrogating him like, I know it was you. I know it was you. Who'd you tell about my box? Or like whatever, you're running your mouth. And for some reason, while Rich is saying that, he was like, it was either you or Cherry. Why you even gave him that option, I don't understand. But obviously the guy was like, well, it must have been Cherry. Duh. That's, what else would that guy say? But he's like, how dare you? How dare you say what I literally just said a couple minutes ago, even though she's right next to me?
Hold on. First you open your mouth about my box. Now you trying to put this on my lady?
The guy was like, hey, I did time for you. Like, I had your back. So, like, what the heck, man? I wouldn't do that to you. And he's like, Richard, he's like, yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm gonna let it go this time. But fuck you, basically.
If I feel you trying to cross me one more time, that's your ass, boy.
Cherry starts puking. Then, this is the only time they ever say anything in Spanish in the entire show, and they don't put subtitles, but I'm pretty sure she's saying something about putting cocaine in avocados.
Enséñale a empacar la coca en los aguacates.
Could be wrong. Somebody fact check that on me. I don't know. So, we're back to this guy that's smoking, and then he sees a sign that says no smoking, and he's like, fuck. Okay, so this is who I think is Richard's therapist. I'm assuming that's who she is. She's incredibly unprofessional and sucks at her job. But she's given him, Richard, an ice pack. And she's like, hey, like, what happened to your head? Like, did you get hit? And they show him getting bonked again from before.
Did you hit your head or something?
Nah, just a migraine.
But he's lying to his therapist for some reason. He's like, no, I just got a lot going on. So Richard was involved in the war, and he got kicked out because he was insubordinate. You can't be doing that there. and his therapist says,
I don't like to follow orders too well.
Sounds rather unpatriotic.
Talking about how his life has been so difficult, and Cherry has been, helping him through all of it. She's always had his back. And the therapist is like, Who's
Cherry?
Who's Cherry? Is this the first time you guys are meeting? And then she's asking him these questions so aggressively. Who is she to you? Why don't you keep up? This is literally your job. Figure it out.
We met at the orphanage.
But who is she to you?
Therapy session ends. She's like, okay, now take a word from this jar. And it's an entire piece of paper that was like aggressively, clearly crumbled, uncrumbled, crumbled again, uncrumbled, like just repeatedly, because like the consistency of this paper is one that's been through hell. He uncrumbles the paper and it says fascination. And she's like, what fascinates you? And then she says some other weird crap.
Go after it. Find it. Find what fascinates you and go after it.
There's no way she's licensed. They're definitely having a real studio session, and they got a new vocalist because Mariah, robbed them.
Nah, I ain't messing with that one. Let's try the other one.
So they got this other girl in there who's really nailing the vocals.
I would choose.
What were you gonna choose? So Mariah brought the box back and she's like, hey, remember I stole this from you guys? And everybody else but Doug clears out of the room because they're like, I'm not messing with that.
You must be Mariah. I'm gonna go.
This girl doesn't even know how good Mariah is at singing Hallelujah. She better shut the fuck up and get out. So now it's just Mariah and Doug in the room, and she's like, I didn't know she was gonna rob you at gunpoint. You gotta believe me, man. Come on. Be chill about it.
And instead she used the box for evil. After you left, she led me into this shady part of the forest.
Aren't most parts of the forest shady? Anyways, her aunt was doing some evil shit with the box, and she was like, I didn't think she was gonna do that, and that wasn't cool.
After she fell asleep, I took the box and I got on the first bus I could back to LA.
So I waited for her to fall asleep. I'm assuming she meant right after this clip here. I think she was knocked out unconscious, as everybody happens to do in this. I guess nobody cares about concussions or anything or any brain trauma in this show, because she's like, so while she was knocked out cold on the ground, I took the box and I left. She's like, well, I brought it back to you, and I just really want to be back in the band.
I just really want to be back in the music group again.
No! But also give me the box and we're going to bury it. And she's like, okay, fine. The rest of them are back now. It's the original 4 from the last episode, and they're burying the box. You're not going to believe this, but now this other guy also has a gun, and he's like, actually, fuck you.
We already dug one hole. Time to dig 2.
We're going to kill you and bury you here. The only thing Doug can come up with in this moment to defend Mariah is, we got a show to get to. You can't murder this person. We got things going on.
We have a show we gotta get to.
So, right, they don't kill Mariah. Don't worry about that. They don't kill her. And they all just leave. That woman found Richard, and she's having a meeting with Richard, the pimp, and this dude Lance, that is the one that was selling the box to her originally.
I had to bury Abdul yesterday. He was a sweet and gentle soul.
And he's like, I'm so mad because Abdul, the guy that Richard shot and killed, he was my friend. And he's like, actually, it's your fault that I killed him.
It shocks people. The homie tried to sell us some fake ass shit.
Apart from the fact that I also stole from this woman and killed him. Like, I don't know why Richard's even in here. I don't know why he's involved in this. I don't know how someone else hasn't taken him out at this point. And she's like, hey, don't you give me all that attitude, because I could just kill you. And they go into the story of how Lance over here found the red box. You're gonna love this, trust me. Another strange animation going on here, but they're in Ethiopia. This is definitely Ethiopia, and they just walk into this room that's wonderfully decorated,
where it lay deep within the confines of an ancient church.
There's electric still running in this ancient church. They look over, and wouldn't you know it, the metal box is just sitting on this ancient set of stairs. One of the guys walks all the way up to it with the gun. Like, pokes, what's the goal here? I don't know. And then Lance is like, no, we gotta get like this cowboy over here to look in the box, to check it out. He's got his hands up like he's about to fight this box. He's not even about to open it yet, but he's just got his freaking fist up. So that's how they found the box, okay? They cut back to the office. This guy's hissing like a snake or whatever, and he's really good at it, actually. Lance is grabbing, I never learned her name. I'm sorry. He's grabbing them coffee, and he's putting something in her coffee, which we can assume is meant to kill her. But then she's like, actually, I want sugar, you stupid ass. So he turns around and grabs the sugar. You guess what happened. And then they get back into their argument, and Lance is like, fuck you again. And he pulls out this gun from under there, and he's like, you need to say sorry and pay me for killing my friend.
Yet again, you bring a gun to a sword fight?
I have a few questions. Brought a gun to a sword fight? Do they have swords? And also, yet again? How often does this happen? Outside the room, the woman's one bodyguard is fighting Lance's entire crew in this freaking place, and he's beating all of their asses. There's like dozens of them. He's kicking their ass. There's this one person that every time she does something, they put this like... They make her seem so, like, sick and cool, but he beats her ass just as fast as the rest of them. Plot twist that we all saw coming, Lance drank the coffee with the poison in it. Oh, no, so he's dead, and her bodyguard beat everybody's ass. So now it's just this woman, Richard, and her bodyguard, and they're like, yeah, okay. Richard's sitting here with his hands unnaturally bent like that. Oh, my God, what the hell? But she's like, you need to give me my box. And he goes outside and gets in the car that Cherry was waiting for him in. She's like, we gotta think about the future, Richard. He's like, duh.
What do you think we're doing? Like,
He's just like, cause for the baby.
For baby Sherry. I'm pregnant.
He didn't know she was pregnant. That's why she was puking earlier. It was like a quick cut, and then he's got the tears running down his face. That's the end of that season. There's another season after this with 2 episodes. I haven't watched it yet. I kind of loved that it didn't really make a lot of sense. Like, they went for it. I don't know how much more they could tie up in another 2 episodes, but maybe I'll watch them. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I really am just pulling these numbers straight out of my ass. Okay, bye.